Welcome back to Bassmaster Elite Series, BASSfest 2016, and this is the important episode of BASSfest 2016 because this is the one where they give away the money and they give away the trophy and the championships and big goings on today, the final day, 1 day of fishing and a strong field, Mark.
No doubt about it. What's really strange about this BASSfest on Lake Texoma, I don't know that there's ever been a tournament that we've covered where not only one angler, not one of your leaders, several of your leaders have said, I don't know when or if I'm going to catch one going into the next day of competition. And we've never covered an event like this. So here's the best way to put it. We manufacture drama every now and then.
All the time.
This one is wide open.
That's right. It's anybody's game. At this point, a full day of fishing left, but who knows what's in store for these anglers. We do know what's gone on up to this point, starting with day number 1 and Casey Ashley coming out firing.
A great start to things. Looking for 19.7 to take the lead. 20 pounds and an ounce. Casey Ashley crushes him on day number 1. Boom shakalaka, giant bass.
After hearing the anglers complain for days in advance of this tournament that may not be a fish caught here, Casey Ashley jumps out with 20 pounds on day 1.
Exactly right, and as you see all that cover in the background, there are very certain specific targets that all of these bigger ones are coming off.
That willow right there just got fish rode all over him though. Biggin. Get in here, get in here, get in here, get in here. Woo!
Just like in day number 1, Casey Ashley with a single really big fish there. Wouldn't be enough to get up into the 20s though. Casey Ashley though says, I like this kind of fishing. I like to flip, and you may think of me as a deep water guy, but I like this. But one man rose to the top on day number 2.
20 pounds, 2 ounces with 35 pounds and 12 ounces. Your Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year leader, Hack Attack, whacks him here on day number 2.
I mean, honestly, this is a blessing. I never know when my next bite's coming. You know, it's one of them deals this week. I'm doing what I like to do. I just never know when I'm gonna catch one. You know, it's not like a deal where I can just pull up and say, I'll catch one right there. I'm fishing a lot of those places, you know, to catch the first one, so I'll take it.
20 plus for Ashley on day 1, 20 plus. That's the shot back from Greg Hackney on day 2. And with that, he takes over the lead after a couple of days of fishing. Ashley in the 2nd position there. And look at Gerald Swindle sneaking up into the 3rd place spot. We'll pick it up with him on day number 3.
Biggin.
Woo! Oh, I boat flipped your big butt, didn't I, son?
Taking a look at Gerald Swindle doing what he does best, shallow water flipping right there. And the whole key to Texoma right now, if you can weigh in 1 or 2 bass a day that size, or maybe a hair bigger, that's what'll keep you in the top 5. And really, Casey Ashley has been a benefactor of that all week long.
Oh yeah, big one.
Casey Ashley bumped out of the top spot by Greg Hackney to start day number 3, doing what he can to regain that lead.
Exactly right. Really, pretty much it's just been one fastball with Greg Hackney. He has lived with a flipping stick. But somewhere on this day number 3 of BASSfest, he's kind of playing defense with Angler of the Year points, just making sure he secures a limit, and he barely did that.
Oh, don't come on.
I flip so much I can't hardly open and close my hand. I'm like, dang, man. Like when I was talking about that bass being a fish of 10,000 flips, I wouldn't lie. It is. Oh, stay hooked up, baby, stay hooked up. God dang it. Big old spot. Don't come off, don't come off, don't come off. Get in here. Dang it. Big hook strikes again. Not a big fish, but I'm proud to have it.
Did get his limit there on day number 3 as we take you back to weigh-in time. Back in Durant, Oklahoma. Big crowds this week. Of course, it is BASSfest. Let's take a look at Chad Morgenthaler. A big day 1 for him, almost 20 pounds. Fell off the pace a little bit, kind of regaining his equilibrium on day number 3.
One of the best tournament anglers of all time and an Elite Series champion from earlier this season, Rick Clunn. Very, very steady this week, 44 pounds even.
Greg Hackney started this day with the lead, with all the expectations of just riding this thing to the end, but a little bit of a setback today, can only manage 3rd place, but believe you me, he's still right in the middle of it.
Yeah, and Greg Hackney didn't want to see Gerald Swindle catching him yet again. 2nd place, 48 pounds, 5 ounces.
Gerald Swindle in 2nd place, and now regaining the lead, Casey Ashley.
17 pounds and 5 ounces. Casey Ashley with 51-15, your brand new leader here at the Geico Bassmaster BASSfest, presented by Choctaw Casino Resort.
I've never done well. I love to fish shallow. I love to flip. I love to skip docks. You know, I'm a shallow water guy, but I have never done well flipping bushes like I've done here.
Casey Ashley back on top as we take a look at our leaderboard, the 12, who will advance to the 4th and final day of competition on Texoma. Ashley back on top. Swindle and Hackney, big players in Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year. Rick Clunn, what a season he's having. Chad Morgenthaler rounding out our top 5. We'll be back with the final day action when we return.
The 2016 Geico Bassmaster BASSfest, presented by Choctaw Casino Resort, is brought to you by Hook, Yamaha, Skeeter Boats, and by Humminbird.
Bassmaster Elite Series BASSfest, right in the middle of the season here, and it's daybreak on the final day of competition here in Northeast Oklahoma. 12 anglers getting ready to go.
No doubt about it, Tommy, and this is going to be a different lake today. You're looking at a lake that's really been falling 3 to 4 feet throughout this event, but the presence of cloud cover, guaranteed by the end of the day, that will affect somebody.
This is what we live for right here. Final day, going out in the lead. Got one more day to bear. Just got to keep our head down, fish, make the best of it, leave it all on the line, and just see what happens.
Our leader ready to go, and hey, hats off to Casey Ashley and the rest of this top 12. They have had a supreme challenge this week, just keeping up with the changing conditions, changing daily, even hourly.
Probably more changes than any tournament we have covered in years here on the Bassmaster Elite Series. And Glasses Creek has been predominantly the biggest player in this tournament. So many guys rotating water. But one common theme so far, Casey Ashley has got to work early every single day. And what I mean by early, a lot of his big bites have come really, Tommy, in the first 2 hours.
Yeah, he talked about this. That's when he's had to make things happen there because it's very slow. This is not a big numbers game for Casey Ashley this week at all. He has made it to this point. He's made it into this lead largely on the strength of, well, day 1, a huge fish, one that anchored his limit. Not so big on day number 2, but day number 3, he came roaring back with another big one.
Still looking for the first bite this morning. It's looks like the water's dropped another foot and a half maybe. It's gonna change up a little bit. Maybe some of the stretches that were good had the right kind of bushes, you know. Those bushes may be too shallow. We're gonna have to find some new water today. I don't think he's quite the size we need, but he may keep.
Keeper in the early moments of this final day for Casey Ashley. Again, he's going to be looking for that bigger one later on this morning.
Exactly right. And Gerald Swindle starting off early this morning with a topwater bait. All this cloud cover, you kind of think maybe something will change. This has been a predominant flipping tournament all week long. Somebody in this top 12 will get that bite going.
He's here, promise you, he's on this point. I know you there, big fella. Where ought to be, right there. Last one. I got him. I got you. I got you, Sneaky. I told you that's where he's gonna be, didn't I? I said that's where he ought to be. Outside bush.
Oh, you called it, Mark. Zone of thin cloud cover today and someone having success doing something different.
No doubt about that. Gerald Swindle making all the right moves so far in this 2016 season. Another angler doing the same. Your day 2 leader, Greg Hackney.
Honestly, it seems like the more pressure I have on me, the better I perform. This lake was scary to me. You know, starting off, I mean, this was one of them places where I felt like it was going to be feast or famine, so I eliminated water. You know, I eliminated an area that I will not go back to on the final day of the tournament. I'm just glad to have the opportunity to fish on day 4. I mean, I'm right there in the hunt. I mean, and I've caught one of the biggest bags this week, you know, that's been caught. So I know the way I'm fishing produces big ones, and it'll produce them as big as they grow in this lake if I get around them. So, you know, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that that final day lights out. There's very little stuff exposed down this stretch. There's lots of shad, and we've had such a drastic weather change, and we're just having it today. You know, it just kind of started yesterday, but it feels good this morning, you know. I'm gonna have to, I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do, swim that jig. That's where they seem like they, that's where they seem like they want it right now. I don't know that. I mean, he just, like you like.
Greg Hackney, like all these anglers, trying to put together the puzzle one more day. One more day on Texoma. Hey, Rick Clunn starting 5 pounds back. A great season for him, and he's one of the greatest of all time from Texas. Has a history here.
Lake's always been good to me. I've fished it 4 times. I've been third. I was third in the Classic here when Hank Parker won it. I fished another open event here, and I was third in it. The other event that I finished 20th in, I came in 14 minutes late, or I would have won it by 7 pounds on this lake. But it's never been this high. We've always fished it in the fall of the year, and it's been real low. And so you'd see none of these bushes even close to the water. The lake's gotten a lot better, though, than it was back then. Of course, the bed fishermen saw it first, but I saw.
That scene is classic in every way. It involves Rick Clunn, and it involves a spinnerbait. Some great stuff on Texoma today. Final day of BASSfest, and these guys, hey, they're doing what they like to do. They like to keep moving.
This type of tournament, you're not fishing in one spot. And a lot of people find this amazing, but even when I won the Bassmaster Classic in 1984 off one spot with a 75-pound all-time classic record, I got bored. I got bored going back and forth on the same spot.
You're watching the 2016 Geico Bassmaster BASSfest, presented by Choctaw Casino Resort.
Big event here in the middle of the season, Geico Bassmaster BASSfest. You win this, you're qualified for the Classic. So these guys are really bearing down hard. A great challenge for these guys, trying to get this place figured out each and every day. Greg Hackney tells us how hard it is on our Geico Quotes from the Boat.
You know, practicing, I went through the gamut, you know, and I'm like, I could pick up a rage bug and get bit everywhere. And I had some, you know, I had a couple decent bites on it, but I didn't have any big ones. I mean, the problem is it could be one anywhere. But I'm gonna run some new water today because there's a place I've been not saving, but just kind of waiting. And I wanna make sure I got plenty time to fish yet. Dang it. Well, I hope he's got it good because he's coming in here. Nice! Now I was fixing to get on you about getting too close to them bushes. I was like, dang. Finally. All 3.5? I don't know. No, oh my gosh.
You can tell you don't fish much.
That fish tell you anything?
I guess I'll just have to stay in here for a while. You know, I told you I needed that one bite. He was on the creek channel swing, you know. It's a nice one. I'll take 4 more just like it.
And Greg Hackney hoping that today's limit comes a little bit faster than it did on day number 3.
Exactly right. Chad Morgenthaler, a very solid tournament. One of the few anglers in the field that actually said he had a phenomenal practice.
I've had so much water in the very back behind all the brush, 150, 200 yards, places where you can't catch them out of there. I mean, you just can't hit all the targets. A lot of places you can't even get the boat. So with the falling water, a lot of times that'll start bringing them out of there. And these bushes and all this cover still have more than enough water on them. You know, and in the mornings, they won't necessarily be in the bush, but they might be around it or behind it. So you can see there's still a lot of submerged bushes too. You know, so that's why throwing this top water, this lunker lure buzz bait around, I can cover water with it. See if they're gonna do. I'm gonna throw my spinner bait just a little bit. But when that sun pops out, they like to get on them targets for the shade and the ambush points, so I'm gonna see if that, hopefully that'll come into play this afternoon a little bit. That's where the bigger one should have been. Come here. There's one. And it produces me another one. I'm sure he's 14. He's about a 2-pounder. That outside bush was exactly why I threw past it and brought it to it. Is so that if they was there, he would come out and get it.
Morgenthaler on the board. Let's move real quickly and take a look at someone who started with something a little bit different actually on day 3.
Yeah, Gerald Swindle doing something different here on day number 4, Tommy, and you could tell it's a different lake. These fish not buried in the bushes like they were on the first 3 days.
I get one of them old Gret Biggins on that little popper, son. I'm gonna be ranching and ranching and ranching. And the famous words of Team Plowboy, you got to ranch them out of there, son. We're choking it right there. And we still throwing the popper around a little bit. We'll hit a few of these bushes for you. Make some big move. A little bit of short, accurate cast, just right up in the leaves. And that'll help. That'll help. That'll help. That's, you know, thank you from the gallery. You know, that's number 5 right there.
Limit in the boat this early is a huge plus for Gerald Swindle. We take you over to Rick Clunn.
Rick Clunn throwing a spinner bait the entire tournament. He said the whole key is that big blade. It's a long drop blade. It displaces a lot of water. He said you don't get a lot of bites, but they're usually good ones.
Well, yeah, we started early because I don't normally catch them the first hour, and we've already got 2. So it's a good start. They're not the right ones, but still, you can't complain. You know, you got to put what you catch in the boat. The pattern's been pretty basic all week for me. It's a spinnerbait, contrary to what most people think. Crankbaits aren't my favorite. A spinnerbait is, even though I've started to have plenty of success on deep divers and square bills all over my career. But this is my favorite way to fish, and I got on it the first day of practice about midday, and then it's just, I love the way you fish. It's pretty easy, the lake's high. Fish want to be deep, but they're not leaving the bushes, so they're getting in the deepest bushes. The deepest bushes that are green, that have shade, has been my pattern. So if you can find a deep bush closer to the old shoreline, the closest one tends to be where the fish are. So it's that's been basically the pattern the last 2 days. Is early, keep it high in the water column. Later, as the day progresses, go lower and lower in the water column.
A little bit bigger, a little more size on keeper number 3 for Rick Clunn, starting this day 5 pounds behind our leader, Casey Ashley. There's the man starting in second place today. And Greg Hackney, man, definitely, as we say it a million times a year, he's one of the most feared guys out here. A record that's impressive, very impressive, but a lot of people think it should, numbers-wise, be a lot more impressive.
No doubt about it. And Hackney will tell you, he really feels that becoming versatile and surviving on the Elite Series has possibly cost him victories in the past. But this one right here, this one is in Hackney's main wheelhouse.
Hate that. I thought I had him. The jig was completely down his throat, you know, but it is what it is. He caught it falling, swam off the tree. He kind of cartwheeled. I couldn't swing on that first time. I had to wait, you know. Left him in the water just a hair too long, I guess. That's a big one. I picked up and it was just, the line was in the wrong place. It was just solid as a rock. And the line had moved, you know. I never saw him get it either. You know what I'm saying? Like he just eased up there and got it.
Probably the biggest miss of the event so far, and a complete rarity with Greg Hackney fishing that way.
Not too many keepers, we've said it before, at this tournament on Texoma, and especially when a big one comes off like that. Potential to play really huge in the final reckoning. More to come from this final day at BASSfest when we return.
The 2016 Geico Bassmaster BASSfest, presented by Choctaw Casino Resort, is brought to you by Mercury, Minn Kota, and by Triton Boats.
BASSfest 2016, the sun is up just barely at our start today. Of course, but the stars are on the water. This is where the stars come out to shine. Yeah, exactly, like we've been saying. BASSfest coming to you from Lake Texoma, and here's the man who starts this fourth and final day of fishing with the lead. 12 anglers out there shooting for the $100,000 and a spot in the Bassmaster Classic. Casey Ashley starts the day with a 3-pound lead over the rest of the field.
Giant, but he might keep. Tried to get me, didn't you, buddy?
That's a keeper, not a big one. Casey Ashley trying to hang on to that lead for as long as he can. On this fourth and final day, over to Chad Morgenthaler, starts the day in fourth place.
It's been a pretty interesting morning so far. I think that my thought process was right on track. I mean, I've got 4 so far. Keep moving around and see what the weather ends up doing for the rest of the day. See what happens. I really don't, the fish that I've been catching have not been necessarily on target, so it's gonna throw the flip and bite off. And that's how most of the bigger fish have been caught. I know some of the other guys will adjust as well. That's a good one. Yes! That's a good one. That's a good one for number 5 right there. Yes, sir.
Chad Morgenthaler trying to make up some ground on Casey Ashley out here. It's a big tournament. Only one other event this season will gain you access to the Classic.
No doubt about it. And these fish have been very heavily pressured. We've seen a critical miss already earlier today from Greg Hackney. Well, Hackney not the only angler dealing with execution problems here on the final day.
God, biggin', God almighty. Frickin' biggin' got my crap, dude. Seen him get it. God, he got it again. Got 2 of my baits back to back. They look like, you know, 3 or 4 pounder at least. Got 2 of my baits back to back. I seen him get it, throw it back in there, he got it again, got my other bait. He got it. God, lost him. Oh. What else to do, dude? This ain't my time to win, that's all I can tell you. I can't fish no harder, I can't do no better. Getting a lot of bites. The days like today, they just say, he ain't coming in. I ain't got no, they just won't come in. Hell, I ain't lost none the first 2 days, none. Now begging, dude. Freaking begging, just come off. I mean, just one right after another, just a couple of hundred a day, you know. I seen him like about 2.5, 3 pounder just run outside the bush, and there I am, tangled all up in the bushes. My goodness, my goodness.
Gerald Swindle finally switching to flipping and gets on the bad end of his first paddle there. You hate it when that happens. Another great flipper practicing out there right now. Greg Hackney in a season where, well, it sets up for a guy who's good with a flipping stick.
You know, you can be overconfident, but the deal is the best thing I got going for me, all the lakes that we're going to from here on out, I've got a 5th or better or a win at, you know, so that always gives you a little confidence. But I know better than to be too confident, you know, because the deal is you have to be a realist in this deal, and it's going to be tough. That's the kind I got to have. And I got to, you know, I'm in an area that undoubtedly has at least one. I can tell he's heavy, and he just turned right at me, and his mouth was wide open. I was like, I can't even see the jig.
Greg Hackney, flipping stick in hand, giving Lake Texoma a good going over. That should be of concern to the rest of these anglers on this final day. Hey, welcome to the Shell Rotella Bassmaster Garage. With time to look inside, tinker around with a few things. And Mark Zona, that jig he's using right there, not so much for the profile as for the weight may be the key to it.
Well, you know you're kind of against the odds when you're literally against the guy flipping the bait he designed. It's a Strike
yeah,
King Hack Attack jig with a Strike King rodent trailer. But gang, the whole key to this bait is the size. He's flipping a big 1-ounce jig, and really the benefit of this jig, you're just gonna get better than average bites. And the other thing, if you really wanna dissect Hackney's week, if you look at other anglers flipping a 1/2 ounce, maybe up to a 3/4 ounce, Hackney is able to be a lot more efficient and actually cover a lot more water with this jig.
And this thing for these anglers out here this week, the flipping technique has been 90% of everything. We got one guy, though, we're starting to take a look at today who's maybe the only guy doing something different on this
And really,
day.
look at what Brandon Card has done on this final day. Absolutely a one-man wrecking machine, doing something totally different, throwing a topwater bait all morning long.
Here's the bait right here. It's a Yozuri 3DB pencil. And the reason that I like this bait is that it's pretty compact, and it's got like a ball bearing on the inside, and so when you cast, that ball bearing goes straight to the tail. I just kind of got a hunch this morning that the topwater bite would be game on with the clouds and the light rain. And so just picked it up this morning, my first stop, caught one about 2 3/4, then lost a 3-pounder, like back to back. And so that kind of gave me the confidence to stick with it. And it was just game on. So it was pretty good morning, to say the least. And since then, since the camera guys have got on me, I've had several really big swirls, but just haven't been able to connect. I don't know if I need to change colors or if some of them are just, hungry and some of them aren't, but I'm gonna stick with it probably the rest of the day.
You heard it from Brandon himself, doing something that he hasn't done all week long, but sounds for all the world like he's totally committed. All of these guys feel good about the places they're fishing, they feel good about their prospects, but only one will stand atop them all when we're done at BASSfest.
That fish came after it 3 times.
I know I can catch it.
Angler of the Year, Gerald Swindle.
Final day action continues here at BASSfest, and on this final day, a good concentration of Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year contenders right near the top, both Greg Hackney and this man, Gerald Swindle, back in 2004. The Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year prize out to Swindle right now.
You know, and this is a critical day for Swindle. The reason being, he's gone at it before for Angler of the Year with Greg Hackney years ago. And here's the deal. Every single bite right now that Swindle gets, it's going to get him an extra point going into our final 3 tournaments.
We start in the 4th quarter. Need to get 3 more big bites. That ain't out of the question, dude. Very doable. So we got us 2 hours and 45 minutes. We need to get 1 big bite per hour. That's it. I mean, this ain't that hard. We need 3 4.5 pound bites on a frog or something, dude, and it's doable. That ain't, hell, I know I can do it. I don't know about the rest of the guys. If they get it, I can catch them. Got him. Woo, 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 woo. I had to turn this sucker around. What'd I just tell you? I said I can catch them. I know I can catch them. I know I can catch them.
Taking some work to get each and every keeper this week on Lake Texoma. Keeper there for Gerald Swindle. Let's go over to one more time, Chad Morgenthaler, who'd like to make a trade like that himself.
See, what they're showing me is they aren't back in these little pockets. They're out there closer to the main part of it. I can't really count it out, but I can see the handwriting on the wall. I hope I'm wrong. I hope a giant one climbs on it back here. That'll cull one out. Yeah, baby.
Well, he's lived with a flipping stick all week long, and Morgenthaler with yet another solid topwater bite from there. Over to Greg Hackney, who, well, he's not only thinking about this tournament.
You know, talking AOY, you know, I started off the year after the first tournament, I was in second. I finished second in the first event. So I was like, man, if this is one of those years where I can get started off right, all my finishes have been good. I've had a good average this year. I fish real consistently. I'm just glad I'm getting me some bites. And I got lots of fishing time left. And that stretch of bushes right there goes a long ways. They've all been really hard tournaments. Regardless of how, you know, day 4 ends, I'll still be leading after this tournament. And it is my goal to lead all the way through the end. You know, the deal is we got the rest of the year, and we got Cayuga next, the Potomac, and then La Crosse. You know, the last time we were at Cayuga, I won the event. So, I mean, you know, I'm looking forward to going back there, but also that puts a little extra pressure on you. Oh, it wasn't even in the water, I don't guess. It felt weird and I couldn't see. And I done got a hair trigger now. The more I have my back against the wall, the better I do. So I guess in theory, I hope the rest of the year is pretty tough. I was just thinking, if I hadn't have caught another one, I was fixing to go back to that blue jig just to make sure they could see it good. I kind of got to think, I'm like, damn, they're just attacking it when it goes in there. I put that black and blue one back in there where they can, you know, they were so, they're so wild. That might, you know what? I might have got bit in there.
He was our leader on day number 2, and today, the 4th and final day of BASSfest, Greg Hackney absolutely relentless, starting 3 pounds behind the leader Casey Ashley, trying to run him down, overtake him, take himself all the way to a Classic qualification.
The 2016 Geico Bassmaster BASSfest, presented by Choctaw Casino Resort, is brought to you by Toyota, GoPro, Berkeley, Stand by. Nitro.
4 days of fishing on Lake Texoma, 4 days of trying to figure out constantly changing conditions, falling water every day. 12 anglers left on this final day and running out of fishing time. Let's take it out to Gerald Swindle. He got an early limit, small limit, and since then his results have been mixed at best.
Come off. God almighty, mother. You need to turn it off. That was it, dude.
Stressful final day for Gerald Swindle, to say the least. That's going to take some time to gather himself from that.
Yeah, that's pretty painful to watch. He's had a tough final day. From there over to Greg Hackney, who really, for the last hour, has wrecked them. He's kind of had a slow morning with all the cloud cover, but these fish have obviously set up in these bushes, and Hackney, he has not moved for over 2 hours.
Please don't let her come off.
Get in here. Get in here.
I'm finna jack up another one.
Keeping your head down, picking apart this place as efficiently as you possibly can. This is textbook.
Really one rod, one bait the entire tournament, and you rarely see that on the Bassmaster Elite Series. There's generally a hodgepodge of lures. Not the case for Greg Hackney, but somewhere watching him cull right now and really looking at his entire day, it's almost it's a case of what really could have been.
Oh, I'm still disappointed. I'm like, I should have a freaking hammer sack. Oh my gosh. Fishing, man. It's supposed to be the most relaxing sport there is on the planet. I was like, I'm sure. This one's a nice one. Wonder if I can keep him hooked up. I mean, them were two freaking big ones.
Well, yeah, there were the ones that got away, but Greg Hackney, you got to say, he's landed in the place you want to land for the last part of the final day. And the man keeping it close right now is Brandon Card.
And really, from Hackney losing a couple big ones, even when Brandon Card has lost a big one today, things have still gone right.
About time to start making some moves. Dadgummit! They're not committing to it right now. I don't know why. I mean, if it was sunny, I would say I need to throw a different color, like a translucent color, but it's cloudy still. Golly. I gotta change colors. They're not eating it. Please, please, I'm begging you. Please come back. Got him! Biggin! Biggin! No, barely hooked. Woo! Yes. Look at that fish right there, at the chunk, baby. I got hooks in my hands. That fish came after it 3 times. Heck yeah. Let me see if I can get this hook out. That is awesome right there. I mean, that's like pushing, actually that's like a 4-pounder. Hit it 3 times. Persistence, baby. I was like begging it. I was like, please come back and eat it. when you're culling chunks like this right here, I mean, that's a solid fish. When you're culling that, it's a pretty good day. Woo! Holy moly, 3 chances. Unbelievable. Holy moly. This bush right here has been good to me. 8.5 pounds, 2 fish right here off of this one bush.
Considering he started the day in 6th place, that is an impressive effort.
No doubt about it. And we made the comment really start of this final day that this cloud cover was going to help one of these anglers that adjusted to it. And really, Brandon Card was not on anybody's radar.
That is the fishing for today. Let's cut right to the weigh-in, Durant, Oklahoma, Choctaw Casino and Resort. First up, the man from Tennessee, Brandon Card.
A former Rookie of the Year, 2-time Classic qualifier from Caryville, Tennessee, Brandon Card. Boom shakalaka, giant bass. 21 pounds, 2 ounces. 21-2, and Brandon Card crushes them on Championship Sunday. From Reed Springs, Missouri, Chad Morgenthaler. 14 pounds and an ounce. Brandon Card remains your leader. He is leading your Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year race. 5-time Bassmaster ready, get loud. From Gonzales, Louisiana, the Hack Attack, Greg Hackney. Looking for 16-1 to take the lead away from Brandon Card. Boy, it's going to be close. 17 pounds, 15 ounces. 17-15, and the Hack Attack whacks them on Championship Sunday. Let's roll him through. He's in 2nd place in our Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year race, a title he's already won once. Get loud for the G-Man, Gerald Swindle. He needs 17 pounds and 14 ounces to take the lead from Greg Hackney. 12 pounds and an ounce. Greg Hackney is still your leader. He led day 1, day 3 of this tournament. Bassmaster Classic champion from Donald, South Carolina, Casey Ashley. He had a big lead. He doesn't need a lot to beat Hackney, but let's get you guys side by side. We are gonna crown a BASSfest champion. Looking for 14 pounds and 4 ounces. 4 pounds, 9 ounces. The Hack Attack whacks them on Championship Sunday. Your champion, Greg Hackney.
Greg Hackney, win number 5 with the Bassmasters, and Greg Hackney, the 2014 Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year, putting on a clinic, shallow water flipping on Lake Texoma. Man, it was a masterful thing to watch, Mark.
You know, and here's the best way to describe Greg Hackney right now. This is exactly what we have waited for. Titles, Angler of the Year titles, Elite Series titles, now a BASSfest title. It's what we expected from him 10 years ago when his career kind of started. And the other side of that is Hackney left a little meat on the bone out here today. He lost a few key fish. You have to give it up to young Brandon Card. Because I'm going to tell you something, Brandon Card is a Hackney in the making for years to come.
Yeah, Brandon Card made it exciting today. Hats off to Brandon. I'm with you on that one right there. Greg Hackney would like for this season to become less exciting when we talk about Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year. He came into this thing with the lead. Of course, Greg Hackney has expanded that lead, firmed it up a little bit right now in a season that started out pretty much in his wheelhouse.
And really, if you look, it's just a model of consistency capped with the BASSfest title.
No big numbers on that dance card whatsoever. Of course, the man in pursuit of Greg Hackney in first place right now is going to be Gerald Swindle. Gerald Swindle, a fantastic season for him as well. Look at that, St. John's, a little bit of a slow start, but since then, he has not looked back.
No doubt about it. You have to look at where we are heading next. 3 very, very shallow water fisheries, which sets up perfect for Swindle and Hackney.
Yeah, the next stop in particular. How about Cayuga Lake, where he won in 2014?
No doubt about it. He did not win in 2014. He blew that tournament away in New York. And here's the other way to put it. It is New York in July. Probably the biggest catch fest we'll see all year.
Good stuff coming up next time we see you right here on the Bassmaster Elite Series.